Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Now today I wanted to talk about something that was raised to me in a conversation that I had a few days ago, and it was someone who was saying to me the people always want to have sensitive people around them. Yeah, being a sensitive and caring woman is a good thing. Being a sensitive man is apparently what lots of women want. And if you follow the stereotypes, and if like you listen on an awful lot of either dating websites or dating advice things, the word sensitive around kind of guys also pops up an awful lot as a desirable thing. And I feel like this is where there's a bit of a problem in communication, because when people say empathy, or sensitivity rather, they mean empathy. Because there is a significant difference between empathy and being a sensitive person. And so I kind of want to address this in the way that I had this discussion the other day. Because empathy is very much kind of the appreciation of other people's emotions. The acknowledgement of it, the kind of transfer of experience based on interaction on an emotive level. While sensitivity is very much more about kind of the reception of things. Yeah? For instance, a sensitive, a sensitive thermometer is very good at picking up the differences in temperature to a very, very minute amount. But there's no two-way there. The thermometer isn't giving anything back. It's only taking stuff on. And so when people are talking about being sensitive, then you've got this kind of difference, because you've got people who are sensitive who can be very, very kind of easily influenced by those around them. They will take things on board, they will jump behind various zeitgeists and onto bandwagons, and they will run with stuff as soon as they are kind of introduced to it. Yeah, you see this an awful lot in kind of political ideologies and things around the extremes on both the left and right, where those people are very sensitive. They don't have thick skin. They like one little word here, there, or everywhere will have them snap and fly off into the distance, like flailing around and raging. But an empathic person is someone that can appreciate the emotions of another person, invest in them, and also kind of interact with them. There's a to and fro between it. Yeah? Or in amongst it, I suppose. So when people are saying, I want a caring and sensitive person, like a sensitive and caring woman, for instance, that was the first example I gave. Caring and sensitive woman. So her partner would be sat there feeling miserable maybe. If she was purely sensitive, then she would get sad as well. If she was coming and caring around her suddenly being sad based on someone else's sadness, when she may have no reason to be sad, that can be as taxing for the person that wants the care and attention and needs the support as anything else. Because now that person who's already under the weight of all their own emotions is now dealing with their partners as well. Whilst an empathic person, an empathic woman who's being caring and sensitive and whatever else in the way that it is meant but not the way that it is actually described, is going to come in and be empathic. They're going to come in and they're going to sit down with that person. They can appreciate the emotions. They can experience that level of understanding of the emotions that their partner is experiencing, and then they can maintain their distance because of the understanding. They know that whilst they can experience the emotion isn't theirs, and so they can have that appreciation, that interaction, but they can still be strong and caring and supportive towards that person without the additional weight of emotion coming into it, without the additional weight of their own emotion coming into it. And so now let's take a look at the more, I would say maybe more extreme example, which is, oh, women want a sensitive guy. Well, if you look at, I don't know, the sensitive guys that you see in movies, for instance, that's where the stereotype is probably most played up. Movies and TV. Rom-coms where you've got the sensitive Hugh Grant-esque individual kind of coming in and being whatever it is the he's being in that particular movie, but he's that individual comes in, and if they're sensitive, then they are going to take on that feeling of the other person. They're going to not just break down into tears, but they're going or be sad for that person. They're going to be sad for themselves because of what they're experiencing from that person. They're going to be drawn along with it. And so as a result, where for the most part women are looking for confidence and a kind of a level of assertiveness, not aggression, but assertiveness in men for the most part, again, that doesn't include breaking down into tears over a problem that isn't theirs. Appreciating it, sympathizing, empathizing, coming in, sitting down, discussing it, listening, and then maybe trying to help address with them, but only within certain means, certain limits still. That's what that's what is wanted. That is what seems to be desired. And so as a result, though, is that being sensitive, where you're just taking everything on board, or is it empathic, where you can interact with it and provide back? Now, I'm going to do another video on empathy at some point in the future, but I wanted to make the distinction here, because the biggest problems that I've seen, especially on online dating, where everything is just like a small blurb in the in a box about the same size as the description box below, it's someone saying, oh well, I'm looking for a sensitive person who's caring and loving and whatever else, and so on and so forth. I mean, obviously in some instances you don't get that, because you just get, anyone that contacts me better be down to fuck, and that's it, which isn't great, but still. But in a lot of those other instances, the number of times when I was on dating sites and doing stuff with other coaches around online dating, and we were finding stuff that was just like, I like long walks along the beach, and I like to keep fit, and I like going out places to eat, and I like cats and dogs, and like 5 or 6 in a row every time, no variation, no difference, no nothing. Yeah? The biggest difference between them would be the slight word order and the picture, and that would be it. And it's like, and this was for both guys and girls, and it's a case of looking at it and going, but if you're all asking for, if you're all being sensitive and soft and soppy in this stuff, and you're all the fucking same, firstly, how is anyone going to tell the difference between you? But also, when you actually have someone come to you, are you actually just saying that because you think it's what they want to hear? Or is it because you're actually that sensitive, and you're being open, and you're being receptive, and you're just putting out that little blurb, but then, it causes so much confusion, because you've got people trying to pitch an ad, you've got people trying to tell the truth, you've got people trying to just say what they think people want to hear, and it kind of boils down to nothing. So when you've got this confusion between sensitivity and empathy, because you've got this confusion between receiving all of that emotion and just running with it, and receiving some of the emotion and interacting with it, you've got this big divide in people. And again, this is where, if we go all the way back to the spectrum of a person that we talked about so long ago, you've on the kind of arguably more sensitive end of things, you've got the people at either extreme again. You've got the kind of the nice guy, and you've got the latent or frozen person. You've got the kind of psycho and the arsehole up the other end, but then it's the people in the middle who are most empathic. You've got the the good guy, the bad boy, and the ideal, who are all sat in that middle space at the middle of this scale, middle of this spectrum, who are sat there and they're being empathic, but then they're not letting it erode their confidence and assertiveness and so on and so forth. They're not necessarily afraid to show their emotions or their vulnerability in various instances, but they're not instantly becoming vulnerable when someone else is in that state. And so, you know, you looking at all of that, I feel like there's this big important divide that needs to be drawn between being sensitive, being highly sensitive as some kind of desirable thing, when it's all it's doing is allowing you to be open to everything. And you know, these are the people who get stirred up when someone starts yelling, I don't know, that someone is a racist. That resonates with them. That anger and that indignation gets taken on by them, and then they embody it themselves and they run as a pack. Yeah, the people who do silly shit like going out on these marches, waving Nazi flags and screaming Nazi salutes, just because someone's made a comment about how a statue needs to be removed. You know, whether it does or doesn't is a completely separate issue, but that's not, you know, voice your concerns, sure, but going out and doing that is taking things to an extreme. Especially when then, as we saw in Charlottesville last week, where we've then people taking it beyond that extreme, where they picked up that emotion, they picked up that cause, and they've embodied it to the extent they've run cars through crowds. You know, that isn't how you can conflate the sensitivity of these people with being a positive thing is beyond me. When the people who are most empathic, the people who are caring, the people who are appreciative of the emotions of others are actually the ones getting stuff done. They're the people who are taking things on board and trying to work with people. They're not just ranting and raving and joining marches. They're the people who are actually engaging, having conversations. And so it's an interesting kind of split here that I feel needs definition. Now I'm going to, as said, do another video on empathy at some point in the near future, because it's a skill, it's a trait that I feel is basically ignored in modern society in a lot of ways, because there's no focus on it, or there's a lot of confusion around it when people call it things like sensitivity rather than what it actually is, and they describe it in a really odd fashion. But until that video, guys, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Would you say sensitivity, purely being receptive, is a positive trait, considering that the relationships are supposed to be two-way things? You know, let me know. And let me know your experiences, you know, where highly sensitive people have maybe let you down, or maybe where you've seen the development from sensitivity to empathy, or possibly the other way around. You know, let me know. But otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, share this video, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.